Hey, 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 hey.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday.
Well, it looks like we got a couple of people in here.
Yeah, I see. Today is Sunday. I wonder what's going on, but I know there's a few auctions out there, so
Yeah, I
people.
see, I see, I see. Let me cut this off. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I know people are out there, at the auction trying to get stuff, so that's fine.
And Thanksgiving is coming up, and they're trying to buy their stuff for Thanksgiving dinner or whatever their plans
Yeah,
are. But
I can't
whoever's here,
believe
we'll
it.
talk to them.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Thanksgiving just around the corner. So before you know it, it will be
I
this.
cannot eat. And look, after Thanksgiving, you know that it goes just like that, and it's Christmas.
Yes, it goes really quick. And it's,
And then next thing you know, it's January 1. Your
oh,
deductible starts over on your insurances, and you start having to pay taxes, doing your income taxes. So, I mean, it just continues to get brighter and brighter.
I just don't like that when that time comes around. I'm like, oh my gosh, taxes, taxes. Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, I always give myself, now I have to think about looking for an accountant because the accountant that did my taxes last time, um he only this was the first time I ever done my taxes. I got referred to by my accountant that's been doing my taxes for years, and she passed away. Somebody took over. They did it for about maybe 2 3 years, and they decided that they were going to pack it up. Then they referred me to another person. It was last minute. The lady, I already found somebody to do my taxes. I got my papers in like by February. It was almost April and still they haven't done my paperwork, So the lady was like, "Oh, I'm not just gonna do it." I was like, "Okay, thank you so much. I'll just find somebody else." And luckily, the had an email that said, "Oh, the lady refer us to somebody she knows to do the paperwork, accounting stuff for us." And I was like, "Okay, let me reach out to the guy." And the guy said, "Oh yes, I can do it." I was so glad. I sent him all my
Look,
paper. I
people that
get
do
all
income taxes and deal with numbers, hands down, because I do, I have an utmost respect for that, because that job of doing taxes or being an accountant or anything like that, I'm
my.
out. That's not my area. I'm out.
It is a lot. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to put all the things that I need, put them in a spreadsheet, every my receipts, everything, and get all that logged in. I try to do all that before the year ends because I know that come the
It makes it
following
easier.
New Year, yes, I mean before you know it, April will be here.
I
So
can't imagine what you have to keep up with. I cannot even. Oh my gosh.
it's a lot. So in order not for me to get a breakdown, I try to get everything on the spreadsheet as early as I can, so that as soon as that time come, all I have to do is just print. I actually just screenshot or send them, email them the spreadsheet and all my paperwork that they need so they can work. I make everything easy for them, so they don't have no problem. They just look at the spreadsheet, look at the paperwork, enter into their little thing, and that's it. So
I would probably make the nightly news if I personally did my own taxes and sent them in to the IRS. They would probably make an example out of me and put me on the nightly news saying that some kindergartner did mine and James's taxes, because it would they would get a good laugh, because I'm telling you, I never even like to balance. You know, when you used to have to balance a checkbook,
mm,
I didn't. And when I started working at the bank, I really didn't have to, because I could see my account every day on the screen before they come
yeah,
out with it on the online where you could view it.
mm,
I could check my account every day and keep up with it every day. But when I didn't work at the bank anymore, I spoiled myself to that. And then I didn't want to balance my checkbook again, because I didn't
um,
like it anyway. So I tried to keep up with it in my head,
mm.
and course, that doesn't work. But I don't do well with numbers. But if somebody wants to give me $1 million, I'll try to practice and do better. I'm just saying. The larger the number,
I
the
wouldn't
easier
I
it
wouldn't
is.
take the $1 million because I don't have time to learn anything. I get confused with what goes where, and then they change. Like when I do my sales tax, because I do my sales tax quarterly, and when I do my sales tax, the form just after a year or two, the form changes, and then I'm trying to find, hey, where's 15A, and I'm looking for 15D, where
And
I
I
have to
don't
put all
understand
these.
why they have to change it.
Yeah, they changed the way the form, because I get to do my quarterly, so I got a booklet. So every quarter I go in and I fill out what I made for that quarter, and then I have to pay them sales tax. I have to pay sales tax, and all the taxes I collected, I do that. So I didn't collect any tax, but I pay taxes on the goods because they're goods, and I don't charge anybody tax, but I still have to pay it.
Right. You
You
still
know,
have to pay. Right.
I still have to pay it. So I don't really charge. I eat that. That's something that I had to eat myself. That's the cost I have to eat myself,
Right.
because if I say, oh, let me start to charge people, even those in Florida, I'm meant to charge them a 7% of the item they bought. I eat that cost. I don't charge them.
Right.
Nobody will get an invoice from me and see like, oh, she charged me taxes. No, but I pay taxes on the stuff they bought. You know.
Some states don't do state taxes. Like Texas, I don't think they have a state tax. But
Mm,
here in Mississippi, it's federal and state. You do both. But some states don't recognize state taxes.
wow.
Like to pay taxes. I don't mean like
Yeah.
7% or like a
Mm,
sales tax when you go out and buy something. They
yeah.
recognize that, but I'm talking about like filing state taxes. They don't do it.
Wow. Nice. All right. Let me go up and say hi quickly before everybody start coming in and won't be able to say hi. So before we start, Jessica, welcome, Jessica. Happy Sunday. Good to see you, and thanks for sharing. Hi, Pearl. Mwah, mwah. Good to see you, Pearl. Thanks for coming in. I hope you are well. Angela. Good to see you, Angela. Nana Ting. Guys, if Nana's watching football here. She's watching football.
Nana's got
Guys,
the
Nana Ting
football
has
going on.
options on her channel, so make sure you are following
If
her.
I'm not mistaken, I think she likes the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not sure, but I think she said something the other night about liking the Steelers.
I really don't have a clue of the football they play here, and I've been here like almost 20 years, and I don't care about the football they play here. So I don't even know who is who. I watch the halftime show, and I'm good.
You got the Florida Gators and the Miami Dolphins where you are.
Yeah. Hi, Sherry. Mwah, mwah. Good to see you. Welcome in. Welcome in. Pearl say, I'm here. Did pot shopping yesterday. Nice.
Nice. Getting some shopping done.
Get some
Yay.
shopping done. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Nana Ting say, I do my own taxes.
I can believe
What?
that because that doesn't surprise me because Nana is very, very intelligent. She's
Yes.
highly functional. So I can believe that she does her own taxes. But
Wow.
she wins hands down.
Show my name. Mwah, mwah. Welcome, welcome. I appreciate you. Welcome me. Nah, doing your own taxes is as easy online. I don't know, Nana Ting. Maybe we can
A
arrange
class, maybe.
a live arrange something so you can come show us. Maybe you need to do something because I would love to learn how to do my own taxes so I don't have to pay
They
three
charge. Some of them charge.
$300-$400 for somebody else to do my taxes, because last time that's what I paid was $300 for somebody to just already put something in I've already put together. All they had to
Yeah,
do
I
was
think we paid over 200 last year for James and I to get our taxes done. I think it was, and it seems like it goes up every year.
Yeah, I remember how much I used to pay before then. I think I paid like 220 or something like that. And then last year the guy said 300. I was like, okay, I'm already late, so I'm not
I
gonna
would have said,
argue.
"Do you have some whiskey in that drawer right there that I can get a shot?"
Hi, Lisa. Mwah, mwah. Lisa does auctions on her channel Mondays and Wednesdays. I wonder who her guest will be this week. Good to see you, Lisa. I think Lisa, if I'm not mistaken, Lisa should be, oh, not this week, next week. I think Lisa is on with me next week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I always love working with Lisa. She's cool.
Yeah, she's so nice.
Yeah. I like her. I like her a lot. Melinda, just like you being a big winner
Oh, that's
of
what I was just gonna say,
certification.
Melinda. She's got it going on. She's like this.
Yeah, she
She
made
got
it
the money
rain.
going. Got the money flowing.
Hi, Melinda. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Such a sweet lady,
She
such a
is.
sweet, sweet lady. All right, timeless juice. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Guys, Timeless Juice by Deborah. She does auctions on her channel as well. She brings really nice stuff. Not only that, when you go over, you happen to do like a super sticker or super chat, or membership, she donates that money, in honor of her granddaughter, I think. She donates that money. She don't keep nothing. She donates everything. So that is really
I got
awesome of
this in
her.
her last auction that I went to. It's a
Mm.
garnet bracelet, and she sent me a little free gift, which I'm going to show all those when I go live Tuesday. But Deborah, she's the sweetest thing.
Yeah, she is. Can't wait to do an auction with her. Hopefully next year, because I'm kind of booked right now to the end of the year, I think.
Everybody wants to be on your show, Ella.
I love them being come on my show.
I
But
know.
sometimes it's just having the time. Sometimes. Teresa, good to see you, Teresa. Welcome in. Welcome in. She said, "Go Steelers." They lost today too to the Browns. Damn it! I feel your pain. I feel your pain. She said, "I go to an accountant. I've been going to an accountant because
See,
I
we do
don't
too.
know anything. I've worked a big part of my life I've worked. So everything is done through my work. I just get when I was in England, we call it 60. We get a P60 or something like that, they call it. And I just open it. I'm like, okay, I don't know what it is. So they took money from my wage. Okay, fair enough. All right. I just filed that stuff and put it away. That's it. I don't have to deal with taxes, nothing. It's only when I came to this state that I found out, this country, that I found out that I have to file my own freaking taxes. I was like, what the heck? Even if I'm working for somebody, I still have to file it my own self.
Yeah, we would tell our children when they got older and they were getting jobs, let me introduce you to FICA. Have you ever met FICA? Let me tell you who FICA is.
Hi, Tracy Cakes. Thank you so much
There's
for
that
your
heifer.
blessing.
There's that
Thank
heifer.
you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Tracy Cake is on today at 6:15, guys. 6:15. She's on today. This is for you, my friend. Mwah.
Thank you for the super chat. 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 Super chat. Super chat.
Thank you, Tracy Cakes. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Mwah, mwah. And everything that you and Colleen do for the
They're
community.
awesome. I
Thank
love
you
both of
so
those
much.
ladies.
Yes. All right. Let's see who else is here. Hi, Jeff. Welcome in. All right. That's crazy. Just pay like 50 or use tax out, easy peasy. Now I think you're gonna have to show me, because I don't know. You're gonna be here next year, April, for the winter? Because if so, just let me know. I'll take I'll take the bullet train.
Taxes for dummies. You know what I'm saying? A class, taxes for dummies.
I need to take it because I don't see myself paying somebody else. I'm tired of paying people to do my taxes. Boatman. Good to see you. I'm right now. I'm in so much pain, guys. You will not believe it. My back hurts from
What did you do to your back?
from standing, bending down to take stuff out of the pallet. And I got a pallet coming on Tuesday.
Another one?
Yes, another one.
But
That
it's
one's
not
a
from
that one's an
Kohl's
Amazon
though,
pallet.
right?
Huh?
It's not from Kohl's, is it?
No, not from Kohl's. This is an Amazon pallet.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's gonna take me a long time to order stuff from Kohl's. Like, the stuff in that pallet were expensive stuff, so
Right.
and I only got 50 items. So that's 50 items. So the amount of money that I bought the pallet for only got 50 items in that. Although they were high price item. So the pallet coming on Tuesday, the high piece count. So they will have maybe up to 300-400 items in the box.
I was
compared
wondering
to
how many items come in a pallet. I was wondering that.
Yeah, they vary. They vary from 150 to like 400 items in the pallet. Good to see you, Boatman. Welcome in. All right, Hunter from the coin community. Good to see you. Good to see you. And don't forget, tonight Jeff has auction tonight at 10:05. I think it's 10:05, around 9:30 or 10. Sometimes I don't seem to get it right. So probably it is around 9 or 9:30 or 10 o'clock today. He has his auction, guys. If you want to know anything about coins, educate yourself about coins, you want to hook up to Jeff's channel and he will tell you a whole lot. He has so much knowledge about these coins. I'm telling you, it's like crazy. All right. I guess when you have a trade and that's what you kind of have to learn the different stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Nana. One day we got to do auctions together when I'm in Florida. All right, Nana. That would be
that would be a good auction. Yeah.
Nana Tink. Thank you so much, Nana. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. This is for you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat. 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 Super chat. Super chat.
Thank you, Nana. You would definitely have to I'll get with you or send you an email and find out when are you available to do an auction on my channel with me. I'd love for you to come on my channel though.
That would be good.
That would be awesome. All
I
right.
would enjoy it.
Paula! Hi, Paula. Paula from the coin community is here. Good to see you, Paula. I hope you are well. Laura Chase. Hi, Laura. Good to see
My
you.
friend
Welcome in.
Laurie.
Sorry. I'm bad with names.
Oh, you good.
Melissa. Good to see you. I think I got that name right.
You good.
All right, we got 18 people in the chat. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. I appreciate you. Oh, thank you, Paula, for sharing me out. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Mwah. Thank you. All right. Okay, so Jeff said he's on at 10 o'clock Central Time, Eastern Time. Okay, so Eastern Standard Time. Alrighty. Eastern.
So Jeff found him a church to go to there?
Well, we go to my church, but we haven't been in a while. I do church online. Normally, when the pandemic happened, I stopped going to church, and I'll just do church online.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Jeff arrived, we went to church. But it's like by the time I'm done with Saturday, especially with invoicing up to 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
I am so tired to get up and say, get up and go, So definitely gonna find time to go. I just get so tired, and I guess he probably is not feeling bad about it because, you know, he doesn't have his car to drive to say, okay, you know what, I'll leave you and I'll just go to church.
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, we're gonna start going again. Like I said, I go online. So like when I got up this morning, I went online and then listened to two services online
That's
today.
what James and I do because I'm not able to um attend church and the wheelchair and getting in and
Yeah.
out, and it's just difficult. So he and I usually watch someone online, I mean on our TV.
Mm.
And to me that's just like, being there. Plus we can stop it and discuss what the person's just
It's
talked
saying,
about.
yeah.
And so we have it together where we can have our own little conversation.
That's nice. That is cool. Yeah, we go to church in the morning times as often as we can. That's what Jeff said. But once I done the auction, once I go to bed, I might by the time because the time I like to go to church is early in the morning because I want the rest of my day to be for
Right,
myself.
exactly. I
So it's
understand
like,
that.
yeah, and so I don't like to go to the late service, because then it just look like half of my day is
Your
already
day's
gone,
gone. It's
and then
already
I have to
gone.
get ready to go to work and everything. So I like to do the morning, but since Jeff came, instead of going to the 8:30 service, we go to the, I think it's the 10 o'clock service, and then it ends at 12. And before you know it, the whole day is just like,
It's gone.
yeah. All right, so we kind of caught up. Yeah, but no, I know you're asking because of the time. That was the time I scheduled when I was going to church. Yeah, but I also do that out of respect for others that go to church.
Got it.
Some people go to church in the evenings. Yeah,
Got it.
yeah. Jeff,
Yeah.
when Jeff was in Missouri, he goes to church in the morning, and then he goes again in the evening. So he goes morning service and does evening service. So he had to schedule his auction for like 10 o'clock. Say hi, Constance. I miss you, Constance. So good to see you. I hope all is well. I miss you so much. Hopefully get to see you this week. All right. Okay, so I, as you all know, if you're since we started this it's me and Angie keeping it real since we started it. I started this because I know that Angie, she will come with the topics, and she tells me I don't know the topics. She just said, I think we should talk about this, and I'm like, yeah, I think we should. We don't discuss it like 2 days, 3 days before. No, I don't know the topic until I see her in the back room.
That's right.
That is when she said, I think we should talk about this. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And she has a very good one for us to talk about today. Very, very good. And it doesn't just apply to whether you are a Christian or not. At the end of the day, we all have that part of us that is human, okay, that we know the right thing to do, and not just doing it, bringing peace to ourselves and to the other person if you chose to. And if you didn't, then you have to live with it because the other person is going about their life, and everybody is not the same, on how to deal with this topic that we're about to talk about. So I hope you guys are ready. Like I said, I think I forgot to put it in the chat in the description, because I was in a hurry trying to make all the thumbnails so I don't forget. So I'm just gonna let you guys know. If you are in here and you know you're gonna get easily offended, there is the door. Just leave, exit out, okay? Because we're not making any apology for what we're going to be talking about. Hi, Joey Brown. Good to see you. Welcome in. We're not going to apologize at all. So if you know you're going to be easily offended when we tell you what the topic is about, you don't need to stay in here. You don't need to announce and let people know that you're leaving. You can easily leave. We wouldn't even know you left. We'll be just thinking you're there watching, you know? So if, like I said, if you're going to be easily offended, just stay out and just don't bring drama, because we're not doing drama. Actually, today, if I wanted to bring drama, today is the day, because I've just, I've just had it up to here, sometimes, and I am human, and
Yeah.
I, I get tired sometimes, so please don't let me just go into a dark place where I really don't want to go to. So if you don't like the topic, we don't need to know. You can just leave. That's all
Yes.
we're saying. Hi, Miss Idaho. Mwah, mwah. Welcoming, welcoming. Good to see you. So I will let Angie let us
Okay.
know what the topic is about today.
Disclaimer: when Ella and I discuss something, we don't have an opinion one way or the other. We're just bringing information of something maybe we have, most of the time, what I've experienced in my own life. So we don't judge. You can take the information and do with it what you would want to do with it. No problem. But today we're going to be talking about forgiveness and unforgiveness. What forgiveness is like, what it feels like when you don't forgive someone, how we hang on to an offense that someone has done to us. And that's going to be the topic. And if you have lived long enough, you have been hurt by someone, and someone has done something to you, even maybe in your household when you were younger. You've been hurt and you haven't forgiven that person. But I can say this: forgiveness is a process. And the deeper you love the person, I think it's harder for you to forgive the person, because you can not really know someone very well, and they can speak a bad word about you, and you can be like, I don't, okay, whatever. But then you can be close to someone and they could do the same thing, and you just get really upset about it and you can't let it go.
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to talk about letting it go, how to handle it. If you really want to let it go, if you don't, that's you.
That's
I
up
mean,
to you.
you deal with it the way you want to deal with it. Now, some offenses are greater than others, and I can't imagine how some people have to live with some things that has been done to them, and it's harder to forgive certain things that have been done to you. But that's going to be the topic today. And the question I have for the on our people that are watching is, what is your thought about forgiveness? And has it been easy for you to forgive, or do you hang on to things and not forgive someone? I mean, what is your thought on forgiveness and unforgiveness? That's the first thing.
Yeah.
I want to know how the chat feels about that.
Yeah.
And then
Nana Ting said, forgive and move on is a huge weight off your own shoulders. I mean, that is so true. I'm the kind of person, um, if I offend somebody, I like to ask, like, hey, what did I do wrong? You know, I've always been like that since I've been a child. And that's why I don't have too many friends, because I noticed that when you have a lot of friends, something is always happening where
yes,
somebody's always going to get offended, so I've never had a lot of friends. I try not to, you know I remember my ex saying that, why don't you make friends with the neighbors? So what? So that somebody's going to get offended because I didn't come to their party, or I went to some of their own other friend party they're not friends with, and they're going to get offended, and I'm going to be wondering why they're not talking to me, because that has happened when a neighbor of ours was so friendly, and all of a sudden she just stopped talking to us. When she walked her dog, instead of walking her dog on the outside of the street, she crossed over to the other side and
oh
walked.
my gosh,
And we didn't even know what was going on. I was like at my office window, because my office on the top floor, and I was like looking out the window, and I was like, hey, come check our neighbor. She just crossed. She came where she was gonna come close to us and cross over to the other side, and just like, you know. And I was just watching her. It was like we didn't even know what happened. And my ex was like, oh, maybe because I said she treated her dog like it was a child or something like that. I'm like, there's no way.
Why would
You
that
know,
upset her
yeah,
so
why you
bad?
got upset? I said, no, that's not it, but we couldn't find out why she was upset. And I'm the kind of person, I will search my brain, like, did I say something wrong? I'm very good at doing that. And I will try to analyze everything. I will say, okay, so this was what happened when I met her. We were fine. And then I went over this one. I'm like, okay, what did I say? I try to play back everything, and trying to find, what did I say, what did she say, and stuff like that. And when I crack my head so many times and nothing, you know what? The best thing to do is, if she's holding a grudge, I will approach the person, because I always want to be the bigger person. It's
Right.
like, be a bigger person and let the person know. So I approach and I say, hey, what's going on? And they say, oh, nothing. I mean, what do you mean nothing? If there was nothing, so why do you behave this way? But if they say, oh, yeah, it's this, that, then I will say, okay, all right, let me sit down, analyze it. Then I will tell you why I said what I said, or why I behaved the way I behaved. But I'm so sorry I offended you. I'm very quick, because I like to say I apologize, so that tension will come down, So I apologize. Now, there's another thing, is that when somebody offends me, now, Ella, what do I do? When somebody offends me, I let the person know that, you offended me, because I don't want to be stewing in that. So
Right.
I'll let you know, like, look, you offended me. You said this, I don't like what you said. You never apologize, no nothing. And then whether you apologize, you don't apologize, for me, I've let that, it's a burden that's been sitting. I've let offload it. Now the question is, do I forget? Because I will forgive. Now the question is, how do I forget? There's
Well, my
different stages I take to forget.
well, my thought on that, like people say, I can forgive, but I'm not going to forget.
Mhm.
And they say, well, how do I do that? Because I can't forget. Well, what I've learned through my experience with forgiving someone is, if you haven't forgiven that person, if their name comes up in a conversation, and you just, all these bad things come through you. If you see the
Mhm.
person in a crowd and all of a sudden your mood changes, you don't act the same, you have not forgiven
You
that
have not
person.
forgiven, yes.
I mean, you still are holding on to it.
Mm.
But also, you're not going to forget it, because our brain is going to bring it up. But you're also, if you forgive them, you're not going to think about it 24/7.
Yeah,
The memory's always going to be there, but it's going to be further and further away that you think about that person and what they
yeah,
did to you.
yeah.
Like
And
I
you're
said,
not gonna have
forgiveness is,
that hurt feeling, that the person, because you already forgiven them, so that feeling of hurt is no longer gonna be there. You're gonna remember it, but it's not gonna be eating you up, you
and
know.
also, you don't have to go back to that person just because you forgive them. You don't have to associate with them
No, yes.
anymore. You
You
don't
keep
have
it
to say
moving.
it's okay
Yeah,
that you did that to me.
yeah,
You just move on, because it's going to affect you in more ways than you think if you do not forgive.
yeah. I will tell you, I think I've said this a few times. A friend of mine, you know, spilled all my information to somebody I introduced to help. All she needed to do was help her with her insurance. I've said this story so many times. But then guess what? She started spilling information to my other friend, which she already knew because she's my friend, but she didn't know her. And my other friend said, that lady is your friend? The one you said to sell insurance to me is your friend? Because the shit she said about you, I wouldn't say to somebody that I don't even know. I called her up and I said, this is what you said. It's no secret, because I'm an open book. A lot of people know who I am, because that is what I am, who I am. I let people know who I am. I said, so that is no secret, although you don't know her. But you can't meet somebody for the first time and start spilling that to her. Now, I told her, I forgive you, okay, but that's about the way I could go with it. It's forgive her. I forgave her. I moved on. She moved on. I didn't contact her again. I found somebody else to do my insurance for me, because I don't want, if that type of person can do that,
Right. Who
why
else are
go,
they talking to?
yeah,
Yeah.
why go back and do that? Constance say, once I get stabbed in the back, I don't pull out the knife and hand it to them to do it again. Yeah, you don't want to do that again. But the question is, once they stab you in the back, do you forgive them and just keep on moving, or do you just let it fester?
The way I look at it, especially in my own personal experiences, and then I learned this at an older age, um, is when you hold on to it, actually that person still has a part of you. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you don't let that go, that person still is doing something to you over and over again because you won't let it go, you know? And
Mm.
some people are afraid to let it go because they say, if I let it go, I'm acting like nothing happened, you know, or I didn't care, or it didn't matter. Well, of course it matters if somebody hurts you and you get, hurt.
Yeah.
But by you letting it go doesn't mean that it didn't matter. It mattered, you know? And that's why like Ella was talking about, she wants to get it straight with people. You shouldn't go to bed angry and have someone be angry at someone, because every day you let pass by, the harder it is to
It
go
is.
back and
Yeah.
get that, you know, that same effect of being friends or try to mend things.
Yeah.
Because I had a friend of mine, she didn't speak to me for 7 years. 7 years. And we went to church together. And
Mm.
we were like this. And she got upset with me and didn't speak to me for 7 years.
Well, let me tell you, that's why I said I don't really have a lot of friends. I do have friends, and my friendship with a lot of these friends are at the distance, because
I don't have a lot of friends either. And I think when you put a lot of your trust in one individual and then they hurt you, you have made an investment in that person. Because this lady that did this to me, I had invested 10 years of my life into
Mm.
this relationship and friendship, you know? And then when it all happened and I couldn't understand what was going on and why it happened and what the deal was, and she wouldn't talk to me, I was devastated. I was like, how can you just throw away 10 years, you
Oh,
know,
yeah,
but
over something petty.
over nothing?
Yeah.
And it took a process, you know. It wasn't overnight. I mean, I kept saying, I forgive her, I forgive her. But every time her name would come up, or every time I would see her at church, I would just be like, you know,
Yeah,
you know,
you haven't
and
forgiven
then
her like
it
that.
would all just come flooding back. But honestly, I can say now I have completely forgiven her for the way she treated me, you know, for no
Mm.
reason.
Yeah. I always used to say, like, I've had cousins, relative, okay, that has done stupid stuff for no apparent reason. And I say, you know what? When you go check yourself and know what you done wrong, come talk to me. I'm like, if I could do that to people I'm related to, who the hell do you think you are? I ain't
Right.
got that time. And then, like I always say, I'm too grown and I don't have the time. There's so many things going on in life to be worried about petty things most of the time, that somebody's going to be pissed off about, and then you're not going to
And you
be
can't
you
walk
don't want
on
to forgive to
eggshells.
move on. It's like you got to learn how to forgive and move on no matter what happened. It's just like, you know I mean, it's like people say, oh, when the person passed, and you're like, oh, I should have, I should have, would have, could have. No, don't would have, should have. If you didn't want to in the first place, then you didn't have to. So don't bother saying, I could have. I had a cousin of mine, okay, that I was talking to her through WhatsApp, okay, and I just hate the typing. So why not use a voice recorder to say my messages? And you can, and let me tell you, Picnic can vouch for this. She will type a whole long text message to me. You know what? I'm like, oh my gosh, this lady wrote me a chapter. But me, I will just press the recorded thing on my phone
And say what you want to
and I
say.
say
Yeah.
what I gotta say, simple. And all you have to do is listen to it. So I did that with my cousin. You know what? She was so mad that I voice recorded her, instead of typing. So I was like, and so you're mad because I voice recorded the message? All I said, because she was like, hey, she was texting me. I say, hey, how are you? Are you okay? And she was like, yeah, I'm okay. I just got to do this. I got to do that. So I was like, okay, I was voice recording and I was saying, hey, why don't you take your time, do this. Once you're settled, get home, give me a call. So when she called me now, she was like angry that I voice recorded. I was like, hold up. So I said to her, I said, you know what? When you cool down, come talk to me.
Call me back.
You know what? It's been almost 20 years.
Oh my gosh, she hadn't cooled down yet.
So I
Can
moved
you
on with my,
imagine?
I'm
Can
telling
you
you, I
imagine
moved on.
holding
Yes.
on to something that long?
Yeah.
You
It's
know
then
how
I'm like,
hard.
it's not worth it. So you know what? For me, I'm like, I don't know what I did. I called her husband and I said to her husband, I said, her husband was talking to me even years after that. I was like, I don't know what I did to your wife, and he couldn't even tell me what was wrong, because he didn't know why she acted that way. I was like, it was only a voice because it's not like I said something bad or
Right.
whatever.
Like you were hollering and screaming and cussing her out. Yeah.
All I just said, you know what? When you get home, you get settled, give me a call. That was the
And I,
recorded message. But
and I
she
feel like
decided,
this when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. You
yeah,
know, don't try to cover it up. Don't try to pretend that it didn't happen or it wasn't meant the way it was meant. No, because I'm like this, and I'm sure Ella can agree. No matter how pretty you are on the outside, um, this comes out of
your
your
heart.
mouth.
Yes.
Whatever's
The
in
Bible
here,
say the Bible say it's not what goes in, it what comes out.
and
That's what
your
the Bible
heart,
say.
out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So
Speaks. Yes.
whatever's in there, that's what's
It's
coming
gonna
out. No
come.
matter how
Yeah.
pretty you are, no matter what you try to hide, no matter what you try, when you speak, it's coming out.
Mhm. Nana Singh said, I also think the older one gets, the easier it is to move on. You realize what actually is important and what is not. Facing death, one realize life's blessing. And that is
Yes,
so true. You know,
yes.
the older you get is easier. But do you know that some people are old and still behave like a child?
Oh, my mom, she's 76 years old, and she is 12. I'm sorry. I love her. Don't get me wrong, but she will never grow up. My sisters and I were talking about that at the baby shower yesterday. That what happened? She's never going to grow up because she was literally mad at my other two sisters for coming to my daughter's baby shower because she didn't want them to, and she got mad and called them both on the phone and just was ugly to them about coming to my daughter's, their nieces, baby shower yesterday.
Mm, mm.
So she's never going to grow up. But we've accepted that that's the way she
She
is,
is.
but we don't put up with it like we used to. It's like
Mm.
we stand firm in saying that was wrong the way you're acting. Because when my grandmother was alive, she would always say, "Oh, that's just the way she is. You got to just deal with it. Don't just overlook it." No, no, we're not overlooking it. It's time for you to stand up and realize what you're doing.
Yeah. Hi, Lisa Jenkins. Welcome in. Laurie said, I can always forgive people, no problem. Depending on what the situation is, I can 85% of the time forget, but some things are hard to forget. We all make mistakes and say things we regret later. That is so true. You know, the only advice with this topic, the advice I want to say is it will make you feel better, whether they're there, whether they're not there, to even verbally say, I forgive that person. Because when I pray, my prayer is, Lord, if I've offended anybody, please give them the heart to forgive me and I forgive anybody that that's offended me. I forgive them. That is my prayer. I pray that prayer so that I will have a peace of mind, you know. And if somebody's offended with me and they don't choose to tell me, guess what? It's gonna remain with them, and they're the one going to be walking around feeling this person offended, that I offended them, but they're not telling me what it is in order for me to say, oh, I'm sorry, or can we pass this? So for me, it's the forgetting part of it. Now the forgetting part of it is where we have to learn that in order for us to have a healthy relationship, even if we're not going to have that same relationship with that person, but for us, we need to just try and forget it in a healthy way.
Yeah, and
There's
if you
so
don't,
many ways you can forget it in a healthy way.
right, and if you don't forgive, so many things are blocked in your life, like good things that would
Yes.
happen to you if you would go ahead and forgive, that you're blocking by having unforgiveness. And you wonder why this is happening in your life. That's not going right. Your
You're
health is
blocking your
going
own
bad.
blessings. Yeah.
You're not, which I'm not saying all health problems are based on unforgiveness. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying a lot of times, you think, why is this bad thing happening to me? Or why am I not feeling well? Or why am I always in a bad mood? Why am I, can't see life as a pretty picture and always, down? Search yourself. It may be unforgiveness, even towards yourself. Maybe you can't forgive yourself for something that you think you did,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember when my husband lost our home, I was bitter. That was the first time I've ever been that bitter. Okay. And so mad. I mean, when I said mad, I was screaming mad, you know, and that just my blood pressure spiked. But by the time I know I was in hospital and everything, and it took me a few months. I won't say a few months, almost 3 years. Okay, after we've been separated, that first 3 years for me to forgive him.
See, you
Okay,
had to distance yourself from him
I
to
had to
heal,
yes, I
to
did it
heal.
because for me, he lost our home. I didn't have nowhere to go at that time. I was like, you lost our home and you nonchalantly behave as if, oh, we'll find somewhere to sleep. No, you found somewhere to sleep. I had to go stay in some stranger house that I don't even know. And for me, it was like I wasn't in England. He was my only source of being here.
Your
He
only
was the
lifeline.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the reason why I was here. So when he lost our home, you know what? Like I said, I was really bitter. Now, to forgive wasn't there. To forgive because and I couldn't forget. Every time something happened to me, I would blame him. And when he's on the phone, I would keep blaming. I'll say, it's because of you I'm in this situation. It's because of you. Every time I wanted to make sure he felt guilty. I say, oh, it's because of you, it's because of you, it's because of you, until I ended up in hospital. It was only when it took for me to end up in hospital to realize that, Ella, what the heck? You gotta forgive. It's gone. How many years has it been now? 3 years? Now it's 8 years. But back then it was just 3 years. So it
And
was
think
like,
about it. You're not carrying him around with you anymore.
no, he was,
You
you
know
know
what I'm
what?
saying?
The thing was, he was living his life, he was doing his business. But that time, my business was packed up. My business was already packed up. I had to work for somebody that I was much older than, that thought they knew something, don't know jack shit.
Right.
And I was so pissed off that, oh my God, all these years I've worked. Now I had the business of my own. I had to pack it up. So he was going about his business and everything. Meanwhile, I was down somewhere far away from where it should have been my home. And I was so bitter because he put me in that situation. And it took for me to be in hospital. And I said, Ella, you need to forgive him and
Yeah, because
forgive
you know
you.
that bitterness you had not only reflects toward him, but other people in your life. It
So
affects
guess what?
other people.
Yeah, I had to call him up. And I called him up and I said, you know what? I want to let you know everything that's happened. I want to say to you, I forgive you. But the most important thing, I want to let you know that I forgive myself. because if I don't forgive myself, I will continue to let this situation eat me. Now, I want to talk about it. I will never forget about it, but I talk about it like I now not only have I learned from it, let other people learn
You
from
went to
it as
school.
well.
That's the
Yeah,
way I look at it. I went to
yeah,
school. I learned something.
yeah. Yeah, Pearl was right. Even the Bible say go to the person personally and talk and try to make amends. That's what you got to do. Somebody offends you, go to the person, let the person know. Don't let the person be walking around wondering what's going on, and you're not telling them what's going on, thinking, oh, okay, that's fine. But then they notice stuff that's been happening is not happening the way it's happening. They're gonna know that yes, something is definitely. Who the
Right.
hell do you think you're fooling? I can see clearly that something is wrong. So
Right.
why don't you talk about it? You don't want to talk about it. Guess what? I will move on from it because I've tried to address it. I will move on from it. I will ask God, like, Lord, if I offend this some person in any way, I pray they forgive me. Whether they want to forgive me or not, I released it from my person so I can feel better. I can go to sleep not thinking, oh, what did I do to this person? What did I do to this? But no, I'm moving on because I've already forgiven. Now it's time for me to move on. That's
Well,
how I do
you
that.
can love someone and not trust them, and you can trust someone and not love them. But when you lose that, it takes about a second to lose trust, but it takes years to build a relationship. But it takes one thing to lose that trust, and then it's done. It's a done deal.
Yeah.
It's hard to get that back.
Hi, everyone coming in. Welcome, welcome. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up.
Right.
Flip flop, welcome in. Buying space. Good to see you, Kawanda. Good to see you. Buying space said you can forgive them, but not trust them anymore. Yeah, if that's what you chose to do, you don't want to trust them anymore, then yes, that's up to you.
It's
But the
going to be hard
forgiveness,
to build that back up once they
yeah,
do something to you. It's
yeah.
possible. That's just like a marriage. If they lose trust in each other, if something happens, it's hard to build that back, but you can do it, but it's hard.
Hi, Storage Bandit. Good to see you. Welcome in. Miss Annette. Good to see you. Lisa Jenkins. Good to see you, my friend. Cole, welcome in. Welcome in. Susanna, welcome. My dad passed and didn't want a funeral. He said, if you went there when I was alive, don't need, no need. Let me tell you, my dad always used to say to me, if I die, don't bring flowers. That's what he said. Every time he used to say that to me. I never knew why he keeps saying that to me because I was like, what does this man mean by that? Every time something happened, he would say, when I die, don't bring me flowers. And guess what? When he died, I didn't really go and I didn't really give him flowers. I didn't go to the funeral. Now, whatever happened, I did forgive him long time ago because I felt my dad is my dad. I'm the child. I needed protection for him protecting me as a child.
Right.
So whatever happened between myself and my dad was between me and my dad.
Right.
It took me years, but I did still have to forgive. Then my father is not, he's gonna look at like he's the older person, he doesn't need to ask for forgiveness. Okay,
Right.
that's gonna be between you and God.
Right.
But in order for me to move on with my life, I had to say I forgive you. Even my mom, same thing. I have to say, Mom, I forgive you. I don't have a relationship, a good, like, I won't say a good relationship. I just don't have the kind of relationship people have with their mom. I don't have that
See, I
relationship with
don't
my
have it
mom
either.
because I
But
just don't know. My mom don't know how to, be a mom.
my mom's not
So
maternal.
I
My
don't.
mom's
Yes,
not
my mom is
maternal.
not maternal like that for any of us. So we don't know how to, like. Okay, mom. No, we don't know how to. But the stuff that she's done in our life don't mean that we won't forgive her. I had to forgive her so I can move on with my life. I thought certain things that happened in my life was because of my parents, because of stuff that happened in their life. And I'm looking at that, I'm like, no. Like myself and my sister, we always used to pray that any generational curse, we break it. We
Yeah.
ask God to forgive it and we move on from it. So I always say my life don't have nothing to do with their life. Well, how they got brought up, it doesn't have to do with mine.
Yeah.
I
I
have
tried
to
to
learn.
break generational curses, and I feel like I've broken several that was a span, like when my mom was coming up, and what she went through. And that's another thing you have to think about. People act certain ways because of what their childhood was like. And if they don't talk about it, then you don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened to my mom to make her the way she is, or why she acts the way she does, or why she chose to be the person that she is. I can only choose to be the person that I want to be, and I don't want to carry that burden of not forgiving people around.
Yeah. Nana said, and sometimes the forgiveness and moving on becomes such a long time, they don't know how to forgive. Time makes it easier, faster, and that is an issue. Well, so true. Sometimes people can forgive and they don't even know how to forget it, and let it affect them, and it comes back over and over and over again.
And then we might teach our children to feel the same way that we feel about that person, and teach them to not forgive that person. And it just it gets deeper and deeper,
Yeah. Hi, Spirit Junkie. Spirit Junkie said, "Unforgiving is the poison you give yourself."
Right, you're drinking it.
I love that one.
You're drinking the poison.
Yeah, I love that one. That is
drinking
so good.
Kool-Aid. Drinking the Kool-Aid.
I love it. Unforgiving is the poison you give yourself. No, I always say, people always say, "Oh, this person did this wrong to me." I used to say to myself, if I tell you what I went through, you will say, "Oh, if it was me, I won't forgive." But I had to forgive. So there's nothing somebody's gonna tell me or type in the chat and say, "Oh, I went through this," and yours would be so petty not to forgive. Say, "Oh, somebody did this person wrong, or they did this, or they say bad about this, or they talk bad behind their back. That's why, you know what, I'm not gonna forgive them. I'm just gonna move on." Really?
People that really know me and know my story between my mother and myself, they say all the time, "Angie, you're such a strong person for all the forgiveness that you've shown." And I just tell them, look, I want to live a life that will reflect Christ, and I want to forgive people. And I don't want to go through the pain of what she's going through right now, because she won't forgive. I don't want to look like that. It makes you age. It makes you sick. It makes you bitter. It makes you angry.
Yeah.
And you just send it on to people that don't even deserve for you to give it to them,
Yeah. So it's like, it doesn't really matter whether it's your co-worker, it's your sibling, any of your relative or your friend. You know what? Sometimes it's just that no matter how bad they did, whatever they did to you, you know what? Sometimes you don't even have to tell them. You take it to God in prayer. Let God know that you're releasing this. Let Him give you the spirit to let it release. Release it. Okay, so you can move on. When you keep holding it, and you, like you said, you see the person and then you get pissed off. You know what? You're the only one that is getting pissed off, because that person is living their life.
Yeah, they don't care.
That person is moved on, living
don't
their
care.
life. You're the one, they don't care. They're going about their business. You're the one letting it eat you up. And before you know it eats you up, you become a rag and bone. And you've been wondering what's going on in your life. Your life is because you didn't learn how to forgive. And don't preach to other people if you are not going to learn that, take that lesson for yourself.
Right.
Don't preach it to other people. Don't preach it. I don't want to hear it. Don't go tell somebody else, "Oh, you got to learn how to forgive," when you know yourself you haven't forgiven somebody else. Whether it got to do with you or it don't have to do with you, you got to forgive and just move on.
I'll never forget this, and it stuck out in my mind for up till now. And this happened years ago.
Hi, Strong Mind.
There was a lady in our church that had something really horrible happen to her and her family. And she said that she told our pastor, "I'm so mad at God. I'm so mad at him." And she said, I can't get over it. And he said, I looked her straight in the face and said, "That's fine. Be mad at him. He still loves you. He doesn't mind if you're mad at him. Be mad at him." But try to work through it. And I thought, yeah, he doesn't even it doesn't even affect him. He grieves for us and he wants us not to be that way. But he doesn't change the who he is because we're mad at him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or
Yeah.
we don't forgive him because we think something's happened to us in our life and he's allowed it to happen. You know what I'm saying? And I just thought, that's right. He's not mad. He's not going to get mad at us, you know?
I mean, and welcoming, and mwah, she said, so glad I tuned in. Weird how you always hear what you need to hear.
Uh-huh.
Well, I hope this helps, and I hope this
Yeah.
really helps, because um so many people might be watching, lurking, they hear this message and they're just going to be tone deaf, or some of them just going to tune out and go about doing, or change the channel or whatever, go about doing what they're doing. At the end of the day, they're the one that is suffering from it, not me, not you, not anybody in here. Because if you know that somebody offends you and you cannot even come out to let the person know, the person is not a mind reader. I think I always used to say this, is that God did not give you that a gift to read people's mind. If you have it,
Thank
if somebody
goodness.
tells me they
Thank
have a
goodness.
gift to read people's mind, you are of the devil.
Right,
You know,
because I
because
don't want
God
to
did
read
not
people's
give you that
mind.
gift to go
I
read
don't want
people's
to know what
mind.
people are thinking. I don't
Uh-huh.
want that.
So don't tell me, oh yeah, I know what you. No, you don't know what I'm thinking. Don't try to read my mind. I didn't give you that permission to read my mind, and God did not give you that gift to read my mind. You know. So yes, just put it there. It says, forgiveness is a gift to oneself, not to the other person. You are so right. You know, forgiveness, that's what forgiveness is, for yourself, so that you know what, you put yourself at ease, you put yourself at peace, and move on with life. If the other person doesn't want to forgive you, but you say, you know what, whatever it is, like I say, if I offend you, please, I'm sorry. Once the sorry comes out of my mouth, I say it like that in prayer. I'm going on with my life. You
Right.
know, I'm moving on. I can still talk about it. I wouldn't forget it. It doesn't mean that I didn't forgive. I will still go and talk about it, because it's just like, you know, I'm learning that next time, maybe I know how I'm going to behave towards this person next time, or what I'm going to say, so it doesn't affect I've done where, you know, I joke a lot. And I always used to say it probably could be the British humor in me. But since I came to America, I noticed that a lot of the people that I joke with, not all of them get the British humor, you know.
Yeah.
So I've had to apologize so many times, because I'm like, okay, they behave certain way, but then I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. It's just a joke. Man, like, well, I don't like that type of joke. Okay, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Okay, so once I say that, it's up to you if you want to forgive me or not. If you don't, I've already released it. I've already said sorry, and I'm moving on. But then if I catch you behaving in a certain way, I'm thinking, okay, all right. So this person is not really happy still. So you know what? I keep it moving. That's what I do. I just keep it moving. I keep on my journey, because I don't want where I'm going to be thinking about it and, you know, let it bother me or worry me. Because I'm a thinker, and I worry a lot. So,
Now, I don't know if men are like this, and I don't think they are, but a lot of times, me being a woman, I see this a lot. When women start bickering and they have unforgiveness toward one another, they want other people to feel the same way toward that person as you now feel about them. Like
men,
if they did something to you,
men
they
have that
trying to
same
get
thing
you
too.
to be angry at that person too.
Mm.
Well, I'm thinking I'm not going to be angry at that person because they didn't do anything to me.
Anything, yes.
You know, so
Okay,
I'm not
yes.
going to get on board with that. I'm not
It's
going to
not.
get on
It's
board.
not just. It's everybody. It's not.
And
It's
I'm
not just me.
sorry
It's
that that
not.
happened to you. And I'm
Mm.
sorry that you're going through it. But I can't get on board with because you're not forgiving that person that I'm supposed to be angry with them. I can't do
Yeah.
that.
No, and it's not my lifestyle. You know, for me, I've said this to several people because they're angry at somebody. I'm like, okay, I understand the situation. I'm sorry that happened. It's not fair. I wish that person didn't do something like that. But guess what? They didn't do it to me. If they did it to me, then it's for me to say, I don't want anything to do with that person. But if they did it to you, the point is like, oh, but guess what? You're still friends with that person. How do you think my friends will feel like when they think you are still
It's
talking to
like
that
you're
person?
agreeing with that person that did something wrong, did them wrong. It's
Yeah.
not that I'm agreeing with what they did, but
Mhm.
that's between you and that person. It doesn't have anything to do with
To
me.
do, yeah, because they didn't offend me. Yeah, they offended you. I'm so sorry they offended you that way. Until they do something to me, then that is understandable. They didn't do anything to me. Why am I going to be keeping malice with them? And the thing I hate in my life is malice. I
Yeah.
just don't, I hate it. I didn't do it when I was in school. I'd rather just move on than somebody like, oh, I'm keeping malice. Who the hell? What do you mean by I'm keeping malice? you know
And then when you try to get revenge on the person that did something, you know what I'm saying? And you try to do something to retaliate for what they did to you, well, then you put yourself in the same boat that they're in, and you become exactly the person that you are mad at, you
yeah.
know, because you're trying to repay them for a evil that they did to you.
Yeah,
So,
but then guess what, though? This example, they're telling you, oh, you don't have to mix with that person because they did me wrong. So if they did me wrong, then you shouldn't be friends with that person. Okay, all right. So what if I decide that I was gonna be friends with that person, and then years later, that person sees you and go to you and say, oh, I'm really sorry for what happened between us. Then you become friends again with that person. Where
and
does
that
that leave
leaves you
me?
right.
That's the thing they don't
Exactly.
think about. Where does that leave me? That person, I never had no beef with them, but because of you, I decided I was not gonna talk to them.
And
But
then
guess
they
what?
make up.
Yeah, and then they make up with you. Then what happens to me? Because they clearly know that, oh, guess what? Ella's not talking to me. I don't know what I did to her. So, okay, fair enough. She's not gonna talk to me. Then, that's it. But then you and that person make up. Where does that leave me? Don't that make me look stupid?
Yeah. Like you can't think for yourself.
Yeah. So Spirit Junkie says some of you probably know the song that has this line. What if God was one of us? What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Everyone is sort of like meeting Christ Jesus. Sometimes it takes more strength to turn.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
people think you are weak if you bow down and forgive someone.
hmm.
But you are the strongest person when you actually forgive. You are the
Yeah,
stronger
sometimes
person.
yeah, she said she completed it. Sometimes it takes more strength to turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
Come on now. You guys are dropping some knowledge down here. I love that. Hi,
They just
Kunzi. Mwah,
dropping it.
mwah. Oh my gosh. Good to see you, Kunzi. Smash the like button, guys. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up. Yeah, that is so true. So all I
And
want to
even if
say,
the person never, ever, ever, ever comes back and asks you to forgive them, it
mm,
doesn't matter because you will find more often than not, they won't.
yeah,
They won't come back. Ella is an exception to the rule. When she says she wants to, say, I'm sorry, this and that, that's not always the way it is.
no,
Even though they don't come back and ask you, you can still forgive them without them even knowing it.
yes. That's it. You forgive them. So at least what I'm just saying to be you know just a healthy situation for you. Go to God, forgive, and just forgive them and move on. If the person chooses not to talk to you, then that's fine. I do that in my life with a lot of people, you know way, way back. And that's why I said I don't like to have a lot of friends, because when you have a lot of friends, there's always a lot of issues and stuff like that. And it was like,
Yeah,
I it's just too much headache. So that's why when I say I have friends, I can hardly count how many friends I have. When I say friends,
right.
on
I
one
got,
hand,
yeah,
yes,
one hand.
it's just not a lot of them. And I have friends, like, even when I offend them, you know what, they come talk to me.
Yeah,
You know, if they feel I did something wrong, they'll talk to me about it. Ella, I didn't like the way you did that. I don't like what you said the other day or whatever. I'll say, I'm so sorry. I didn't really mean it. It must have come out a wrong way. This is what I meant. You know, I try to say it, but I first of all try to apologize, because apologizing, it does help the tension come down, and then you can go on and you can explain whatever. That's something I don't like when it's done to me. When somebody offends me and they just think about like it wasn't an offense, I'd like to go to them and say, you know what you did today, this is what you did today, and I find it really offensive. Now, you don't even apologize. You try to justify yourself, and you know damn well you're freaking
What you
lying.
did.
You
What you
know what
did.
you did, and then you want to twist the story like you didn't say stuff or you didn't do stuff. It's just trying to say you're trying to prove something, which it doesn't help the situation. It doesn't help the situation. Now, guess what? I just let it go because I've already spoken my mind. So you already know how I feel about it you know and like what you always say is like, I try to go to bed not having that anger, because my last my marriage, I always used to go to bed heated and freaking angry, that I sometimes I couldn't sleep. I've told the story here where my husband talked to me like really rudely at a store one day at Best Buy, or was it Best Buy or Staples one time like that. He never apologized. When he knew he was wrong, never apologized. I waited till we got home. I never talked to him. I went to my office, spent the rest of the day in the office. It was time to go to bed. I locked the master bedroom door. I'm like, you're not coming in this room to sleep on this bed. 'Cause I was waiting for him to go to the master bedroom and go sleep there. I looked at the time. I was so stewing. Let me tell you. I looked at the time, 3 o'clock. I'm like, yeah, this guy's dead asleep. I went there, yanked the pillow off from underneath him. He woke him up. I'm telling you, you won't know what I did with that pillow. Once I finished, he was like, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? I said, don't you ever talk to me like that again. Ever in public, disrespect me like that. You know, don't talk to me like that.
And the best
Oh,
thing you can do is when somebody hurts you and you have unforgiveness or you're trying to forgive them, is start being successful and going on with your life, because the person that's hurting you really wants to bring you down.
yeah.
So don't fall for that. Just continue to do good things, and good things will
And
happen.
happen with you. So you know what? I carried on, but he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't really mean to." You know what? Okay, so you didn't apologize, or you could have apologized, no, but you didn't apologize then. Now that I've come and I've done a reaction, I got a reaction out of it. Now you want to say, "Oh yes, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have." I'm like, "Yeah, shouldn't talk to me like that or disrespect me like that." So that is the thing. But the thing is, like, it is hard for people, when they get offended, to say let it go, you know but the main thing is to forgive. Like today, whatever happened in my life today that made me pissed off today, by the time I go and my head hit the pillow, I say my prayer, that's it.
Right.
Unless the person want to talk to me about it the next day, and I will gladly talk about it. But guess what? I've already dealt with it, and I go to bed. I don't want to be mad because I want to have a good night's sleep.
And you
You know?
can't control the other person and what they're doing and how they're acting or whatever. You can only control you. You can
Yeah.
only take care of what you need to take care of. Don't even give it a thought about what that person needs to be punished for or what they need to happen to them or whatever. You just deal with you.
Yeah. Look at what Nana Tink is saying as well. If they want to talk to you at all, you just let it go. There's nothing you can
Thoughts
do.
on how you all have moved on without knowing anything you did wrong, yet a friend wants nothing to do with you any longer, just won't talk to you at all. See,
There's
that's
nothing
the
you
same thing that happened to me. I didn't know
Yeah.
what I did to this person, that she
Yes.
and I would go on trips together. She would come have here for holidays. She was close to my children. She never would tell me what I did to her, and she wouldn't talk to me, so I didn't know. And finally, after 7 years, we kind of talked it out, but it wasn't the same because I never looked at her the same way anymore
After
after
that.
that. It
And
was
then
too much
sometimes you find out
water
it was
under the
something
bridge.
minuscule like that, very small, that just like you be like,
It just
huh?
festered and grew. It was over
Yeah,
nothing. It was something that
nothing.
she thought that someone told her that I said about her daughter-in-law, and I had not even said it. And instead of her coming to me about, did I say it, she just, okay, that's it. She believed the other person, which hurt me because I was like, how could you believe them after 10 years of friendship? I mean,
Mm.
why didn't you just come to me? And she was all apologetic then, but I had done.
It
I
changed the
saw
whole
the
me.
real her.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
saw who she really was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So yes, Nana thing.
Narcissistic people are real, and sadly, they usually don't even know
That they are.
that they
Oh my
are. Yeah,
goodness. Oh my goodness. I know that. And you know what? Those type of people, you have to be aware of those type of people, because they come and talk to you as if like, oh, nothing was wrong, or if something was wrong, or they twist it and always want to make you feel like they didn't do anything wrong, where it was your fault
well, narcissistic people don't have the ability to have empathy
at
or
all.
or
They
any
don't.
kind of feeling toward how the other person feels. They
Mm,
don't even have it in their DNA to do that.
yeah.
So if you are expecting a narcissistic person to ever feel empathetic toward a situation, the best thing you can do is get away from a narcissistic person and, love them from a distance.
Yeah.
Don't not love them, but love them from a distance.
It says here, they have like a sense of self-importance.
Oh yeah.
They preoccupation with power, beauty, success. They feel entitled.
Yes.
That's the thing that pisses me off. Like they feel that they're entitled, and can only be around people who are important or special.
Right.
And they're arrogant, lack empathy, like you were saying, must be admired, and many, many more. There's
Yeah,
a
they
whole
want you
list.
to stroke them all the time. Oh, you're so good. You did
Yeah,
this, you did that.
yeah. And I have a whole list of it, because I remember I took a screenshot of this way back in September. I took a screenshot of this because it's like you come across some people and the way they behave, it's like, huh, this just looks familiar. I
Yeah.
read about this, you
Yeah.
know, and it's like they never say they're sorry when they're wrong.
Oh, they will never say they're sorry. Never.
Or even when they say they're sorry, they come and talk to you about it like, oh, I'm sorry, but there is
Well,
a
you know what that
freaking
but
but.
does? That
Like
but negates everything they said before then.
the
When you
but
put a
comes in
but
like,
in the
yes, it was your fault still.
but, and then you shouldn't even have said anything before the but, because that negates everything you said.
Yeah. Constance, I love that Ella is straight up. No need to I don't sugarcoat
No,
nothing.
why? We're all
I'm
adults.
like,
Why we're going to
yeah,
sugarcoat it?
yeah. Like I said, in a few months' time, I'll be 57. Okay. I live my life for the next day. And I keep this is the time I keep praying that Lord continue to extend my life for me.
Right.
Why is it that I don't like the holidays coming up so quickly? Why is it that when I hear about Christmas, I don't want to hear about it? I don't like people counting it down, because I just feel, oh gosh, another year is coming again, another year. Because then I looked at it, I'm like, oh, you're getting older now. I don't have time to deal with crap. I didn't deal with it when I was in my 20s. I didn't deal with it when I was in my 30s, 40s. When I see stuff happening in my 50s, I'm thinking, really? I don't have that time.
See, you and I are just
I
a few
don't.
months apart because your birthday's in March, mine's in May, and I'll be 57. So we're, the same age. So I feel the exact same way.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't have
you
that
got to
time.
pick
Life
and
is too
choose.
short to be
Yeah, you got to pick and
dwelling.
choose your battles. You
Yeah,
can't.
to be dwelling on stuff. Life is just too short. If you feel I offended you and you cannot forgive me, then that's up to you. Me, I'm on the other hand, I like to talk stuff through. I will approach
Especially if
you.
you don't want to talk about it. If
Yeah,
you
if
don't
you
want to
offend
talk
me, I
about it,
will approach you and I'll say, hey, you did this thing, you and this is what, and I will talk it out. For me, once I've talked it out, I'm like, okay, I will go before I go to my bed. I will ask God for that forgiveness of that person, forgiving them before I ask God to forgive me my sin, because I am not perfect as well. I am not a perfect person. So I'm not going to be dwelling on somebody's issue. I just, it gives me more stress, and my life is stressful enough. I
yeah.
can't just deal with extra stress. I can't deal with
And
it.
I know some people go through not being able to forgive themselves for things that they have done or they think it's unforgivable. So I would just say that's a process
Hi,
too.
Renee.
Learning to forgive yourself, which you should do. You should forgive yourself for anything you think you've done.
Yeah. And that will even be better, because if you keep forgiving yourself, you aren't going to get bitter when stuff happen in your life. You're not going to get angry at every Tom, Dick, and Harry, you know, because you know in your life, like, oh, you know what? I'm going to just forgive. But forgiving, if somebody offends you, if the person, if you have the opportunity to let the person know what they did, then let the person know. Let the
Right,
person know that yes, they offended you, and give the person the opportunity to say, okay, I am sorry. But if I'm giving you the opportunity to say, okay, I'm sorry, and you didn't take that opportunity to say you're sorry, but you're trying to justify
what
what
happened?
you said or what happened, then at the end of the day, what's that tell you the kind of person that you are?
Right,
You're a low life person,
right,
because you've done something. And if that person say, look, what you did, I'm hurting, you say, I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to hurt you. Okay, I thought this, I thought that, but I am sorry. you know but if it's like, why can't we say that? And then some of us, we call ourselves freaking Christians.
See,
you
I
know
can say I'm sorry. A lot of people, they can't. They will never say that.
I think we all have our sensitive. Yeah, I know we got sensitive buttons and issues and whatever, but yeah, I don't know. They are often hidden until triggered. I mean, why wait that long? Sometimes hurts from the past are triggered. People don't. I understand that. I
Consciously
understand
mean
that.
to work that out in a
Yeah,
hurtful way.
that means that person really has some big issues. But you don't take it out on somebody else. One,
That's my
it's
point about not forgiving. It bleeds over into other
into others. Yeah.
relationships that you have because of another person that hurt you in your past or whatever, or somebody in your family, and it just bleeds over into other relationships.
Mm. So all I have to say today is, if somebody offends you, okay, try and forgive them, even though you not for them, but for yourself. That's all I have to say. Just forgive them for yourself, so that you don't feel bitter when you see the person or you hear the person's name. You don't feel bitter. You are at peace with yourself. You do whatever you want to do. You move on from it. It's just like somebody talk about something you really like. Oh, okay. That's
Uh,
it.
well,
But if
this
you're still bitter, you always have something to say. You always have something to contribute if you're bitter. You
well, this
know.
lady that she and I went through this, I found that if the longer I stayed in the place of where I wasn't forgiving her, I couldn't remember the good times that we had.
Hmm.
So I wanted to remember the good times that we had, but as long as I stayed mad at her, I could not remember those things. So once I
They
started
fade
letting go
away.
of that, I could remember the good times and really, be thankful for the time that we shared that I believed was true and what I learned through that relationship. And I
Yeah.
didn't have to suppress saying our name or talking about the things that we did together that was fun, or something like that. Because as long as you hold on to anger towards somebody that's really really hurt you, like somebody in a marriage or a long time friendship, you can't talk about the good times that you had, because you're only thinking about, oh, they hurt me,
Yeah. And that's just gonna take all over, that friendship, and it's not gonna be a healthy friendship
And
at
if
all.
both people aren't willing to fix it, it's not going to be fixed.
No. Time to move on. I think we need to give grace if we might need it for ourselves in the future, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it does make
Does
sense.
make a whole lot of sense. Yeah. Does make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you come up with an issue of unforgiveness, or you have to, and I know this takes a strong person to do this, what I'm fixing to say, you have to put yourself at the point, well, what if I do someone like that? Because we all have lived long enough that we've hurt someone.
Of course,
I
yeah.
mean, we have hurt someone,
We're not
or
perfect.
we've done something. So what makes you exempt from not getting, getting forgiveness, and then that other person not getting forgiveness? You know what I'm saying? What makes you more special for people to automatically forgive you, but you won't forgive somebody else,
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to turn it around and think about, okay, what if that was me? Put yourself in those shoes. But I can also say this, and we hadn't talked about this yet, but the offense, you got little things, and then you got these big, huge things that happen in somebody's life. Say, for instance, a drunk driver kills someone that you love or is in your family, or a child or something like that, and you are so mad at that person for that happening, and you can't seem to get past that. You may be mad at the person that was driving, you may be mad at God for letting it happen. You're having to deal with that strong event. To me, that unforgiveness is deep. You know what I'm saying? And it would take a long time to be able to, and you may be blaming yourself for it happening. You don't know what the circumstances are. But to me, it depends on the offense of what the event that has happened. You know what I'm saying? For you to come up with unforgiveness that you can't forgive, because everything's different. Say someone does something to your child, your grandchild, like something that's not nice that you do to children. You know what I'm saying? It would be hard for you to swallow that and say, look, we're just going to have to move on, because to that child, it's looking like you do not care about what happened to them. If you tell that child, we've got to forgive this person, that child's thinking, wait a minute, they did this to me and you're acting like it's no big deal. You know what I'm saying? So it's really hard depending on what happens. But for every situation, in order to move on, you have to forgive. I mean, that's just my thought process.
Yeah. On something like that, like I said, I used to do casework when I used to do try to get cases ready for tribunal when I was in England. And I used to read these cases about kids getting abused and everything. I got abused as a child as well. So it is really hard when you think about how you're going to go about forgiving your abuser, and for some people it will take years. For me, it took years.
See, I can't even imagine. It would probably be the same way.
It took me years, but guess what? It affected my life so bad. This is why forgiveness is so good. It affected my life so bad that I wanted to commit suicide. Now, that wouldn't been a good thing if I did go on ahead and commit suicide, because this person would have been living their life.
Yeah, and you
And
would
then
have.
guess what? I decided, because that stuff happened to me, decided that, or do I really want to should I forgive this person and move on with my life, or should I take my life? So for me, at that time, I couldn't live the way I was living, and I wanted to take my life. But for some reason, I don't think God wanted me. And he was like, no, you're not going nowhere. You got to move you got to move on with it. So I moved on, and that just happened like in 2005, that I almost committed that suicide. But guess what? This thing happened to me like oh my gosh, when I was a teen. Okay. So for that to still affect me when I was like in my 30s, then. So for me to say I've had it, I'm just tired with this life. I want to, end it. But even after I forgave this person, but I just felt they're living their life like nothing really happened. And I'm still struggling with this
And
thing.
that's the thing that hurts the worst is they're going on and just laughing and having a good time and like nothing ever happened and everything's supposed to be back the way it was. And, that even hurts more
Yeah.
to see that person live that kind of life.
So, yeah. So at the end of the day, that was when I was like, I wanted to live. I made up the mind that I don't want to take my life. I want to live. And in order for me to live this life and not let this thing bother me, I won't say forget, because if I say forget, how am I going to, I wouldn't be talking about it, or let people say, hey, learn from what I went through. So it's hard when somebody rape you, and, as a child, or even as a teenager, guess what? You say, oh, I'm not gonna forgive, and move on, and life is just gonna be like, oh no, you're not gonna be happy. You go to bed, you close your eyes, you see the same shit all over again. You're afraid,
Right.
and stuff, because that's what happened to me. I was always afraid. I always had locks on my door, and I don't like to bring people home and stuff like that. But then, at the end of the day, it's like, why am I letting fear overtake my life? I have to forgive. So I did forgive. So I had to forgive in order for me to move on. And I moved on. I thought I would never, ever get married. Never. I thought, no, don't want anything to do with men. I don't want to, I don't want nothing. But I had to forgive. I moved on, and I was surprised. I was like, what? Because I never used to let nobody touch me,
See, and that's a good thing. If you hadn't have forgiven, you would be the same way. You wouldn't come far and you wouldn't be trusting men. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. God's plan. He knew so many here on YouTube needs you, Ella.
True.
Thank
Because
you.
I think your story radiates a lot of people have been through that same thing, but they're just not willing to talk about it. They're not there yet. They're not at the point where they can even let it come out of their mouth. But I have learned that keeping it in here is such a small area, and it makes things seem larger than what they are. And once you speak them out into the universe, it's so huge that it just releases so much pressure.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm. I had to. So that was one thing I learned, is that I would have died, and like, would have God even forgive me for taking my own life, one, and me not even forgiving the people that hurt me. So, and life was not worth living. That's why I wanted to take my life, because I was never happy. Even though I had my own house, I bought my own, I'm telling you, I bought my own place. I had a good job working for the British government. I had money in the bank. I could buy whatever I wanted to
See,
buy.
that goes to show you that money does not make you happy.
Yeah. But still, for some reason, I still wasn't happy, because I still had this thing, like it was a stigma or something like that on me, and it was like, wow. And I was looking at these other assholes, and I was like, oh my gosh, why am I so bitter? And why is that every time I think about it, tears just run down my eyes all the time, you know?
But your offender is gonna have to pay for that either here or in the afterlife.
Yeah.
So it's not like they got away with it. Anybody that does something to you, they're not getting away with it. Just because you never see them get what they deserve that's coming to them, or what you think they need to get, doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. And it can go down to their children. Like they may not reap it, but their children may reap what they actually did, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, so that is what life is about. It's about forgiving. If you don't want to forget about it, that's fine, but do not let it be an unhealthy thing for you. Forgive. If you don't want to forget, turn it into a story. I remember when I used to go counseling, when I went through what I went through, because after the suicide stuff, I think I went for counseling, you know, and they always said to me that write it down. You know, you
Yeah,
writing it down is just like letting everything, loose.
right.
You're just putting it out there. So write it down. So sometimes it's just good, just write it down. It's like you telling your story. Write it to yourself. When you finish writing, you can tear that thing up. It just gives you a
And if
sense
you
of
get,
releasing.
and when you get started on trying to forgive someone, don't be so hard on yourself if you have a relapse and go back to feeling the same exact way before you decided, okay, well, I'm going to really forgive them.
Yeah.
Because it's a process and it's a painful thing. And when you feel pain, it's hard to, when somebody emotionally or spiritually gets into your and hurts you that deep, it's hard to get over that. So don't think it's going to be an overnight thing. It's going to
Oh
be
no.
it's going to
And
be
definitely
months,
not
years.
overnight.
No, it's
It's definitely not
years.
overnight. It takes a long time. And when you're going through that process, you're learning with yourself how to deal with it. And always ask God to help you. Ask the Holy
Yes.
Spirit to give you that peace of mind to help you go on and on. I remember when I first of all told my ex, that this is what happened to me, because it was during that process when I was planning to take my life. That's when I met him, you know, and I was, even though I met him, I was still distant. But then when somebody was like to know, like, what's going on, and then you open up, he was very, very protective, very protective. You could understand why I behave the way I behave most of the time. He could really understand why I react the way I react. Some people that don't get to learn the other person, when you don't get time to learn person to the other person, the way why they react a certain way, you will never get to know the person, because you never
Right.
take the time to want to invest to get to know that person,
Right.
and then find out how, why they acting that way. There's reasons why people act the way they act, because they've been through it, they've been hurt in certain things that gone on in their life. When I see certain things that has gone on in my life repeat itself, for me, I was like, I don't want to go through that again. You understand? I just say to myself, I don't want to go through that again. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do so I don't go through that? How am I going to handle it? How am I going to deal with it? You know? Oof. Hi, Jay. Welcome in. I have listened to the conversation. Very true. Sometimes forgiveness of someone is almost a monthly practice in response to some other event. Ella is sure is not overnight. And welcome in. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much. It's not an overnight process. Forgiveness. It takes
And see,
time.
my thing is
Got
like
to put it out there.
when I was 16, I also tried to end my life because of things that was going on with me. But I think that everybody, and I know this for a fact, everybody has a purpose. Everybody's here for a reason. If you're still breathing, you're here for a reason. You might not know what it is, but you are. That's why
Yeah.
you should keep moving. Don't ever not give yourself credit for being who you are, and do not value yourself, because you have value.
Yes.
A lot of people's self-esteem, like whatever happened to you, that somebody else may think less of themselves, or they may not think highly of themselves, and they may think they're not worth anything or whatever. But I'm here to tell you, it's not like that. You have value. You need to keep moving on and search out your purpose and what you want to do for to make the world a better place. You know what I'm saying? Instead of
Yeah.
being in a depression all the time and being sad and angry and not forgiving, it's not healthy.
Yeah, it's not healthy. Thank you, Spirit Junkie, you ladies, just for a healing and informative discussion. I love all the different chats. Yes, thank you so much. I'm so glad. Sadly, my cousin never recovered from her tragedy up to today. She's about 70 hours old now.
70 years old now,
Oh yeah,
never
she never
dated or
and never
married.
dated or married. Yeah. Um. Let me. That I think that's one of the reasons why I got married late too. After okay, after I went through that stage, it was even hard for me to stay in a relationship longer than 3 months. Every 3 months it was like a 3 months on and on relationship for me, you know so it was hard for me. And I thought I would never ever get married because of what I went through. I didn't only go through it as a young child, but I went through it as a teenager, you know
Right.
so when I was 8, and then again when I was like 18 or 19, something like that. It happened to me. So at the end of the day, it was like, do I want to keep living this type of life? I don't want to live this type of life at all.
Well, see what
And I don't
happened.
want to get married.
Well, see,
But
my deal was I didn't want to have children because I didn't want a child to
oh,
have the
that's
life
another
that I
reason.
had. And I was thinking I can't put a child through what I
Do
went
that.
through.
Yes.
So I didn't want to have children when James and I first got married. And if I had not changed my
Hi,
mind,
Polly.
I would not have the children that I have today and the grandchildren and the beautiful life that I have. If I would have stayed with that and said, no, James, I don't want to have children. I
Mm,
can't do that. Because I didn't think I was going to be maternal because my mom's not, but I didn't know if I would or not. I
mm,
am very maternal.
mm,
But um, if I would have stuck with that and not forgiven and not chose to say, okay, I'm taking the chance, I'm having a child, because I knew James would be a great dad, and if I wasn't a great mom, he would make up for, what I was lacking. You know what I'm
mm.
saying?
Yeah.
And so if I would have held on to that, I wouldn't have what I have today. So a lot of us are stopping things from happening that are great things because we won't forgive. You
Mm,
know,
yeah. All right. I guess this is where we end our topic for the day. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for the super stickers, Tracy and Nana Tink. I appreciate you guys. We're gonna
when's
be
our
back
next
again.
when's our next show? Let me look on here and see what.
I think it will be in December
Third.
3rd.
Yep.
Yes, December 3rd is our next show. So I hope you guys come and visit us on the 3rd. And I think that probably will be our last. I think we're gonna take a couple of weeks off because we're
Yeah.
preparing for
The holidays. Yeah.
the holidays. Yeah, so we're gonna probably
We can
take
start it back up after the first of the year.
yes, I think so. Because December now, everybody's gonna be trying
And
to
we got a baby coming probably in December, and we got birthdays and Christmas and all that. So
yeah,
it'd
all
probably
that.
be
Yes,
best. Yeah.
on the weekend. So we're gonna do one more show. And yes, we're gonna do one more show, and that will be the 3rd of December. That will be our last show for the year. And we're just gonna recap some stuff and talk about anything else we want to talk about. And hopefully
And don't
after
forget to
December.
give us one of these.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in the new year. But hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow at 12. I will be doing a jewelry unboxing where you have the opportunity to come and ask me, Ella, can I take that for 3? Can I take that for 4? So
Name your price, whatever you want to do.
yeah, it will be Jay. It's 5. We do 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I hope to see you. It will be 5. The thumbnail will be out a week before or a few days before. I normally put the thumbnails out. So yeah, it will be 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when we normally do the show. But my unboxing, jewelry unboxing tomorrow at 12 noon. And then I have a toy auction at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will just be a toy auction. And then It's Me, Angie has her live at 11:30. You don't want to miss it.
That's on Tuesdays.
On Tuesdays, yes. And don't forget, Jeff is on tonight at 10. So please go over and support him. Anything you want to know about coins, if you're buying coins, or you know what, you might even just win. Make sure you leave a comment on his last video, because they do giveaways if you left a comment. Leave a good comment as well. Tracy Cake, hopefully Tracy Cake is live, so you want to go over there. I think she came on at 6:15, so make sure you go over there as well. If you haven't hit the bell, make sure you hit the bell, and don't forget, we love you. All
Love
this
you,
is
and there's
just
nothing
to
you
show
can do
love.
about it.
We're not judging nobody. It's just love.
Nope.
Anyway,
just love.
guys, on to next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye, guys.